I know it's been a couple years since our last gala, and we are happy that you all were able to join us this year to celebrate our 8 2021 winners and our 4 2022 Shining Star winners. We're so happy that you guys are all here and all of our wonderful winners. I would also like to say a great thank you. Without the support of our wonderful sponsors, we could not do this event or even make it happen. Our bronze and silver sponsors, which are listed on your program there, have donated wonderfully, and our gold sponsor members are also listed as Prospect Place, Frederick's Funeral Home, the Mount Prospect Lions Club, Nicholas Associates, and Peterson Roofing. Thank you very much to all these wonderful supporters. I will make my speech nice and short because I know you guys all want to get to the activities. So I would like to invite Mayor Paul Hofert here to do the official greeting.
Good evening, everybody. It's so great to see so many friendly faces. As you all know, I'm Paul Hofert, the mayor of Mount Prospect, and on behalf of the Village Board, I welcome you to the 30th Annual Celestial Celebrations Shining Star Awards Dinner. As I think about the village, and I do think about the village every day, I think, how does one identify the village of Mount Prospect? How do you know when you're in our town? Well, that identity is created by our landmarks. Randhurst, Recplex, Village Hall, the Water Tower, the River Road, Flood Wall, Aspen Trails Park, your house, your neighbor's house, and so many other physical landmarks provide that sense of place. When you see those landmarks, you know you're in Mount Prospect. And what's really interesting is the identity of Mount Prospect, it's changing every day as new landmarks are added to our landscape. Many of the landmarks have stood the test of time. Some were literally just born. Some were built by people who are no longer with us, and some were built by people who are in this hall this evening. These structures tell you that you are in the village of Mount Prospect. In my opinion, identity is a must, and it creates that sense of place for our residents and for the people who come to or pass through our town every day. However, what makes that identity tick? What makes Mount Prospect go each and every day? It's the soul of Mount Prospect. And what's the soul of Mount Prospect? Our soul is the people, and it's always been the people of our town. It's the people in our community that give our village life, vibrancy, and warmth. That soul is certainly the people who live in our extremely tight-knit neighborhoods where neighbor truly cares about neighbor. But it goes far beyond that to the people who own and run businesses and to the people who work in those businesses. That soul are the kids that go to our schools in Mount Prospect and the people who work here. And without that soul, the identity of Mount Prospect is essentially worthless. The identity is an empty shell. The identity is just, well, a ghost town. The people in our town are the soul, and most of these people live in our town, but some do not. Some of these people cut your hair. Some of these people stock the shelves. Some of these people fix your car. And some of these people sell you insurance. And some are the people that are the proverbial butcher, baker, and candlestick maker. Some of these people show up at your doorstep when you're in need, and some of these people help you pay your water bill when you go to the village hall. Some of these people plow your streets, and some of the people cut the grass in your neighborhood park. And some of these people teach your children. Finally, we have so many great people who give of themselves each and every day to help others with absolutely no expectation for anything in return. People who coach teams, people who are on our various service clubs, people who deliver meals, people who are scout leaders, people who establish GoFundMe pages for citizens in need, or simply shovel their neighbor's sidewalk. People who just want to help others. However, you must remember that without you and without them, Mount Prospect would be hollow, a place with no soul. So as we begin our festivities this evening and honor a number of people who have done 1, 2, or 1,000 great things for others in Mount Prospect, just remember, those honorees, all of you attending tonight, and all the others who live and work in our village, you are the soul of Mount Prospect. So on behalf of the Village Board of Mount Prospect, I thank you all for being and for creating the soul of our town. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, Mount Prospect is blessed with a deep and giving soul. So congratulations to all of our honorees. We have some incredibly deserving honorees, and having attended the Shining Star Awards for the past 30 years, I must say that this is the first time that I personally have been in love with one of our honorees. So thank you all for being here tonight. It's going to be a great evening. So enjoy. And now I would ask Ron Villers to come forward and give us our opening.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this opportunity to gather tonight to not only honor these individuals, but to appreciate each other, as we all are gifts from You. Sometimes we may forget how special and how important every person is that You have created. Everyone has been given certain gifts You have deemed for each of us. May we all use these gifts to help each other as well as ourselves as we continue our journeys in life, no matter where You lead us. We live in a wonderful country with the benefits of life, liberty, and so many freedoms to enjoy, whatever our directions and situations bring us to. Let us continue to support our leaders who work tirelessly to maintain this delicate balance of progress and personal happiness. Let us never forget those who have gone before us and pray for those who will come after us, because we have such a noble legacy to fulfill in Your name. We thank Thee for this food we are to enjoy and ask Your blessings on the hands that prepared it and the hands that will serve it. We ask for Your blessings on all of us as we enjoy this camaraderie, this special night. In Your name we pray, amen.
Amen. This year is a special year as we recognize winners from both 2021 as well as 2022. Now, let me just remind you guys, it's a festive moment, so if I pull on my ear, you guys just start clapping. Starting in 2021, first up, we have the Best Neighbor Award. This award recognized the resident of Mount Prospect who exemplifies the meaning of a good neighbor. Zeno Lunchek is the neighbor that can save the day. He helps out in many ways, from fixing lawn equipment and home appliances to making trips to O'Hare Airport to pick up and drop off his neighbors. He offers to watch his neighbors' homes while they're on vacation, and he will lend a hand if you have a flat tire or you need your battery jumped. With over 40 years of helping out his neighbors from that time of need, Zeno truly exemplifies the best neighbor and a shining star. The winner of the 2021 Best Neighbor Award is Lino Lenchek. You don't have to talk.
Yeah. Hello.
And we have Zeno Lenzik, and he is the winner of the Best Neighbor Award. What a beautiful award that you have.
Thank you.
So tell me what it means to be a good neighbor to you.
Well, it means it's a good neighborhood, and I love to be there.
What have you done in the neighborhood that I know that people have been talking about, and
Help them out whenever they need it or something.
specifically maybe during COVID there were some more obstacles and some more needs?
Well, I don't really recall the COVID time, but it was hard. We didn't go too much out.
Right.
The neighbors didn't come out. It was kind of low
A low point.
point, yeah.
For all of us. Well, that award looks very good on you, and I'm sure your neighbors feel very happy to have you in the
hope so.
community.
I hope so.
Well, congratulations. This was from 2021, and I'm sure that your good neighborly attitude continues in the future.
I love that, to do that.
Well,
As long as I stay healthy,
that's right.
I mean, that's the way to go. And the neighborhood is so nice, and I enjoy it. I lived there for since '75, so I really enjoy that. And
Well, Mount Prospect has wonderful neighborhoods, and they're lucky to
sure is.
have you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
Next up, there ought to be more people like this award. This award recognizes a person that's indispensable in the life of a group or organization. This person takes on multiple tasks, helps whenever a hand is needed, and takes charge when the occasion demands it. The village of Mount Prospect is a better place just because this person is alive.
To hear John Junius Jr. tell it, a lifetime of helping others was simply following the lead of John Junius Sr.
I've basically followed in my father's footsteps. My dad was always a great man for helping out everyone and going and taking care of people, and I basically got everything that I know from my father.
The help that John provides isn't confined to the Mount Prospect street he's lived on with his family for the past 23 years. John's giving extends to neighbors, church, community, and country. Let's just say that John's neighborhood extends well beyond his own block. John serves his community. As the village's water systems operator for the past 18 years, John doesn't take his responsibilities to his fellow residents lightly.
I take my position very seriously. Having clean drinking water is vital to a community's survival. I look at every single day as an opportunity to make something better in the village. Every time I see an opportunity to improve something or just trying to find a newer way to do it, I do enjoy that.
John serves his church. With his wife Colleen and their 3 daughters, Haley, Hannah, and Hope, the Junius family are active members of St. Raymond's Parish. In addition, John has committed himself to charitable work through the Knights of Columbus, where he's been a member since he was 18 years old. John serves his country. Part of the Illinois and Wisconsin National Guard for over 23 years, John is also a veteran of both Desert Storm and Desert Shield. As a young Master Sergeant, John was ready to serve with little notice.
When we were called up for Desert Shield, it was a 3 a.m. phone call. I went in my parents' bedroom and notified them that they were asking me to come in right now. We actually went from Chicago to Morón, Spain, and then from there we actually went on to Abu Dhabi.
And yes, John does serve his neighbors, using the lessons that his father taught him.
There were young families that just purchased houses on our block and stuff, and I like to try to teach them stuff. I was fortunate to have my dad teach me a lot of things, and not everybody had a dad that would be able to show them, and you let them borrow the tools and say, as long as you're not going to hurt yourself, you go right ahead.
Service comes easy to John by simply knowing how he'd like to be treated.
I don't do anything differently than I believe everybody really should. It's like treat people how you want to be treated. When you think, oh, maybe somebody will be there in your time of need, but you just never know. Just being a good neighbor, it's pretty easy to do.
The winner of the 2021 There Ought to Be More People Like This, John Junius Jr.
And we have John Junius, who has just won their Ought to Be More Like This award from 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you look awesome.
Thank you.
Tell me about your attire, first of all.
Well, first off, I had gotten this for my nephew's wedding last year, and when they told me it was a black tie affair, I'm like, it's a perfect outfit.
It's perfect, it's right. So tell me a little bit about what you do in the community. I know you work with Public Works.
I'm the village's water operator. What I do is I take care of the water system demands on a day-to-day basis. We place the orders for the water coming from Jawa, which is our supplier. And then on a daily basis, I check all the booster stations to make sure that everything is exactly safe and that all the water is being transmitted to everybody's houses safely.
Well, it sounds like you've gone above and beyond somehow. Is there things specifically that you've done that people have really appreciated your above and beyond attitude?
I like to help out neighbors and, young families who would really had first houses. They don't know what to do with it, and I like to come in there and help them out and try to solve the little problems, make the big problems smaller.
Right. Well, little problems are better than bigger problems. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
your
very much.
award. What a nice accolade it is in the Mount Prospect community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is the Rising Star Award. This award recognizes a junior high or high school student who goes above and beyond, which is what is expected of them. This is for a young person who deserves to be honored for the example that they set and for the leadership that they display. These are the shining stars of tomorrow.
When you read the list of Kelly Robinson's accomplishments, it's an impressive record for any adult. You have to keep reminding yourself, though, Kelly's a student at Prospect High School. Her commitment to charitable giving is beyond her years, and it started when she was only 5 years old.
I think we started out with a Light the Night ceremony that we went to, and it was in honor of someone who at the time had leukemia but later passed from it. She was very young. She was a little bit older than me. I was 5 at the time, I think, or maybe a little younger, and we helped fundraise for her. And I think we raised like $48,000.
When attending South Middle School, Kelly was honored by her fellow students for her charitable work with the Matthew Ives Award. This experience gave Kelly her focus for her charitable giving moving forward with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
I had no clue who Matthew Ives was, but after some research we found out that he had passed away from leukemia. And we were like, well, that has to mean something, and I have to do something now that I've won this award. He passed away when, at the age that my sister was at the time that I won it. I'm just going through that, losing someone, losing a sibling, losing a family member, losing a friend. That's so hard, I can't imagine.
In 2021, Kelly raised $50,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society through their Students of the Year program. She's coordinated blood drives and was named the youngest member ever of the advisory board of Versity Blood Center of Illinois.
I love serving the community. It just feels so good after and during and seeing its effect on other people.
Kelly finds balance between her fundraising activities and her high school activities, which include student council, service club, and the Prospect High School Marching Nights, where she is a drum major. She's also quick to help any of her fellow students who would like to give back to the community themselves. Her advice? Start simple.
There's definitely smaller things you can do in your community. It doesn't have to be something huge. It could be just one night that you find out you have a free night. You can also make social events out of it, bring your friends with you, but mainly find something that you enjoy and find a way to contribute to the community.
And the winner of the 2021 Rising Star Award is Kelly Robinson.
And we have Kelly Robinson, who just won the award for Rising Star. Congratulations.
Thank you so
And you
much.
look beautiful. So you're a Prospect High School student.
Yeah, I'm currently a junior.
And so you're so young, and we so appreciate you. So you raised $50,000. Tell us a little bit about your cause and how you chose that cause and what it means to you.
Yeah, so I raised $50,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and it kind of started when I was a freshman. I had known someone who had passed away from leukemia when I was little, but I won this award in 8th grade. And after doing research, found out that he had passed away from leukemia, and it was in honor of him. So I thought that it was kind of a sign to do something in honor of him and in honor of winning the award. So I found this Students of the Year campaign. It was a 7-week fundraiser, and through that I was able to raise $50,000 for leukemia.
So what did you do to raise the money exactly? I mean, how did you do that with your fellow students?
Yeah, so the biggest part of fundraising is usually just personal asks. So just sending emails, bugging people, sending multiple emails, phone calls, finding outlets. The award that I won, we were able to connect out to that family who now lives in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
So we were able to reach out to them. They were able to send it out, family members, friends. And then we also did little fundraisers. We had a blood drive where we handed out my QR code and things like that. And then we also did things like Stan's Donuts and Kendra Scott.
So you're obviously very charitable and involved. Are you involved in a lot of organizations at school, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm
Just one or two.
Yeah, I'm drum major in the marching band, and then I'm in student council and a service club.
Well, there ought to be more like you, for sure. We can all learn a little bit from you. Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next is the Star Spangled Banner Award. This award recognizes a resident who demonstrates pride in America through service, attitude, and commitment. This individual has assisted this country or is a veteran in some meaningful way.
His father was a pipe fitter, as was his father's father. Chuck Orn came from a family of pipe fitters, becoming one himself. He could never have imagined that his apprenticeship was uniquely preparing him for war.
I started as a 597 pipe fitter apprentice, and not having 6 months into my apprenticeship, I got my draft notice. So instead of going into the Army, I went down and I joined the Navy.
Chuck was ready to serve his country, though he will admit to being a bit relieved to be heading to the Hawaiian Islands instead of the conflict in Vietnam.
I was sent to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. I said, oh, that's a great station. And maybe a month and a half after that, set sail for Vietnam. So I spent 3 tours in Vietnam. I went aboard the USS Benjamin Stoddard, which was a guided missile destroyer. And for the next 3.5 years, I lived on that boat. Ship. Can't call them a boat.
The apprenticeship that he was just beginning stateside determined the role he would play.
So I was in damage control. If anything broke down mechanical, piping-wise, I would take care of it. We're there for gunfire support. My basic duty was I'd sit there right outside the engine rooms with my damage control gear on and just pray that we didn't get any calls.
Chuck safely returned home from his 3 tours in Vietnam. He didn't reflect on his naval career till years later when he was approached about joining the VFW. His involvement with the organization quickly expanded.
In 2000, our quartermaster decided he was in his 80s, so he was getting tired of it. So I said, yeah, I can do it for a year or 2. And I've been doing it ever since.
As the officer responsible for all post funds, Chuck takes his VFW duties very seriously. Along with his wife Carol, they are an important part of the Mount Prospect Post 1337. When asked, Chuck is quick to answer what he's most proud of.
This hat. It's the All-American hat, and VFW posts are divided into groups. In that group, you have to be in the top 25 to get this. And we've done it 3 years in a row.
But it's also Mount Prospect he's proud of and how they treat their veterans.
When I march in a parade and all the citizens or people are on the sidelines, and you watch them all. As the flag goes by, everybody stands for the flag. And there was one parade, our 4th of July parade, where this old man in a wheelchair was standing up, and he looked at the guy sitting next to him on the ground and says, "Get off your ass and stand up for the flag."
Winner of the 2021 Star Spangled Banner Award is Chuck Horn.
I like that.
And we have Chuck Orn, who has just won the award, the Star Spangled Banner Award for 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, and your tie is looking right for the agenda here. Tell me a little bit about your patriotism, not only for the community, but for the state, for the country, and your attitude toward that.
Well, I spent 3.5 years, almost 4 years in the Navy with 18 months in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
So,
We do thank you for that.
and, I didn't think of joining anything until about 1999 when I joined the VFW. So I joined, and I've been the quartermaster of the VFW for 23 years. And then I also joined the Lions, the Moose, AMVETS up in Wheeling. So I try to join all the veterans organizations that I can.
I'm sure that they are so appreciative of your time and your effort. Can you tell me some of the things that you do to volunteer your time in VFW or Lions Club?
Well, yeah, I help with the Lions when they set up for the festivals. And the VFW, we just started last year, we did Thanksgiving dinner for the sailors from Great Lakes.
That's wonderful.
So we had 55 of them, I think. And we did dinner for them at the Moose. And I used to march in the parade. Now I can't march.
So you're not busy at all. You've got nothing to do. You got nothing. Well, thank you so much for your time, for your service, for your commitment, and all of your volunteerism. We do appreciate you, and clearly Mount Prospect appreciates you as well.
Yeah. Now, I don't even live in Mount Prospect.
But we here
But
appreciate you
I'm
in the
member-
community.
Right, I'm a member of everything in Mount Prospect.
Right. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
The next award is the Invigorated Youth Award. This award recognizes the individual, organization, or program that champions causes for our local youth. This person or organization enriches the lives of young people through conscientious and dedicated efforts, either through an organized program or through their own actions.
She's been described as a super volunteer. In the end, for Robin McCluskey, volunteerism is all about creating an experience, creating a memory. Robin has created lasting memories for the scores of adults and children she's worked beside and taught through her years of volunteering.
I feel like if I want to get involved in something, I want to give 110%, not 100%, but 110%. But because of that, that's why I want to get involved and to create memories. It's important to be able to create memories throughout your whole life.
She accepted a company buyout from her job when her children were young so that she could spend time with them and volunteer at the schools they were attending.
Being involved and helping my children have a great experience, whatever activity there is, or helping the students at large. I would get involved with activities that they were involved with.
Grant coordinator for the District 57 Education Foundation, board member for the District 214 robotics team. If there was a need, Robin was there. But it is her volunteering as basketball coach for the Mount Prospect Park District that holds a special place in her heart.
Coaching was very important to me. As we have these team experiences, it's not about just that one team and the success of the team, it's about teaching them how to embrace the skills that you have and working together as a group for a common goal.
One of her biggest volunteer challenges was coordinating with Michaeline Beals, the annual marching band competition at Prospect High School, the Night of Champions.
So what that means is I had to work with the band director of Prospect, Chris Barnum, to make sure that everything was set from a coordination standpoint. It's like creating a convention because in that one day, we have roughly 3,000 to 4,000 people coming on campus to spectate.
The life she's made in our village with her husband Jerry and their 2 children, Aaron and Ryan, has been ideal for her volunteer work.
I think that Mount Prospect is a very giving community. It has opportunities to get involved with, and I've scratched the surface on just a few of the areas. There's many more areas.
Her philosophy stays consistent, regardless of the project at hand. Promote camaraderie and build lasting experiences.
It was always about creating a moment, creating a memory. It's not me by myself. It's all the people that I work with. I mean, any experience that I've had, it takes a village. And having the committees and the subcommittees and all of that is how we, as a group, are successful.
And the winner of the Invigorated Youth Program is our friend Robin McCluskey.
And we have Robin McCluskey, who has just won the 2021 award for Invigorated Youth. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. This is such a thrill. I feel just so humbled and honored to be receiving this award. It's been so much fun volunteering here in the community, and I've met so many nice people and volunteered with so many nice people over the years that, like I said, I haven't seen that until tonight, but it takes a village. And we are so fortunate with the type of people we have in this community we really band together, and it's been a lot of fun volunteering, and I look forward to continuing it.
You know, Robin, I always think about that with volunteering, and you're giving so much to others, yet you get so much in return, don't you, from giving and receiving. You get probably just as much as they do. Can you tell me about some of the things that you've done to volunteer within the community? Because I know there are so many of them.
Oh yeah, well, I've coached basketball for 9 years, from the time I have 2 children,
Right.
were in 2nd grade through 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And then helping out with the Ed Foundation, helping out with different organizations with the high school when they were in elementary school, helping out with Cub Scouts and PTAs and PTOs. And again, it wasn't just me, it was me working with my fellow neighbors and parents to create an experience. I mean, that's what it's all about, is creating memories. And I'm hoping that when these kids that I've worked with over the years, they'll look back and remember, oh, that was so fun. And it's not that we would have, won and maybe the championship or whatever.
It doesn't even
but
matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It's they had fun as a team and they met new friends. And I enjoy seeing that, and that is very meaningful to me, and that's what I get out of it, because I enjoy making a memory and making that lasting moment for that kid.
I can feel your passion.
Oh,
I really, really can.
so exciting.
You've obviously gone above and beyond in your time and your efforts and your volunteerism in the community. So I know Mount Prospect appreciates you, and we thank you for all of your time and your efforts.
Well, thank you. And again, I'm just so humbled to have received this. It was such a thrill, and I'm so glad that we were able to come and celebrate tonight, especially after these last 2 years with the pandemic. So thank you for everything.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Mount Prospect, and thank you for all of my neighbors for helping me do what I think is important.
She makes it easy for me.
Next is the Open Arms Award. This award recognizes an individual or organization has readily opened its arms and its hearts to the needy, lonely, or less fortunate.
In normal times, the Mount Prospect Human Services Department would be deserving of any accolades. Offering community social services, nursing and health programming, and Senior Social Services, Human Services is the guardian of our most vulnerable residents. But the past 2 years has not been normal times. The pandemic created a hardship never before felt for many of our village residents, and an unprecedented challenge for Mount Prospect's Human Services.
So when the pandemic started, things started shutting down. We had to pivot quickly. We had to figure out how we were going to meet heightened needs in the community. While we weren't surprised that those needs existed, the volume of new clients reaching out to us that hadn't needed to use our assistance previously because they were working and they had income and they were getting by, suddenly found themselves with nothing. So in the short term, it was really, what are the most important things right now? Making sure families and residents have food. I'm so proud of our team because I feel like we really rose to the occasion. Our team came in on the weekends. We packed and packed and packed to make sure that we had enough packed food bags to just continue to distribute that. We did that curbside.
Human Services provides outreach to the community from 2 different locations, Village Hall and the Community Connection Center, located in the southern end of our village and serving some of our population that is most in need.
Human Services can have multiple locations, provide all kinds of services, but if the community doesn't trust our department, then it's really not going to be effective. And I think our department over many years has really earned the trust of the community. I think that cultural competence is so important, and we have that as well. And we really see residents coming into the Community Connection Center with just about every kind of problem and question you can imagine because they know it's a space they can come, and if we don't have the answer, we're going to help them find it and we're going to advocate for them.
And through this advocacy, countless members of our community have found a shoulder to lean on, a helping hand. But the true lasting success of Human Services can best be measured through the generosity of the community itself.
I think Mount Prospect is a special community on 2 levels. One, I think it's special because the village recognizes the need and prioritizes human need in the community, and that's why we have a Human Services department that is well-staffed and well-skilled to meet various needs. I think the other thing that makes this community so special is the generosity of residents in the community. We see this firsthand year-round. Our food pantry, our emergency assistance program, all donation-based. I don't know if other communities are this generous. I don't think so because a lot of our colleagues in other communities are jealous of what we're able to do. So I think that this is just a special place.
The winner of the 2021 Open Arms Award is the amazing team of the Village of Mount Prospect's Human Services Department.
Our Human Services are truly the angels in our community.
We have part of the Human Services Department here. As you can see, it's a camaraderie here, and they have just won the Open Arms Award for 2021. Congratulations to all of you and to those who aren't even here with us at the moment. So you have a beautiful award, and I know the Open Arms Award really is something to cherish because it means that you've opened your arms, you've opened your heart to some that may be a little less fortunate, a little more needy. Can you tell me how you've done that and why you've done that?
I think that's our mission year-round, every year, but during COVID, it became more apparent the need to open our arms and make sure that those less fortunate in the community were being looked after. And so I think the video highlighted a lot of the work we did just to make sure people were able to meet basic needs during that time.
Can you tell me one or two things that you did that really meant something to you?
Sure. I think, just the food pantry and making sure that we were able to meet that heightened demand was hugely important because families were scared about how they were going to get food into the home. I think another thing that we did that was really impactful was helping people to apply for unemployment. There were people that had technology barriers and maybe didn't have computers. The libraries were closed, and so their ability to access technology they needed was not there. So that was another, I think, big piece of how we helped to get people stabilized during that time.
And so I know it makes you feel important and makes you feel like you can do something for others. And so what made you decide to go ahead and go above and beyond and do all this?
I think our team, those that are here and those that are not here, go above and beyond every single day. I think that's just who we are. I think that's why we're drawn to the work we do. So I don't think we really even had to think about it. We just kind of, jumped into action.
And that's why you've just won the award, because everybody doesn't do that. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate the attitude that you have and all of the volunteering that you have done that goes above and beyond your actual job description. So we appreciate you here in Mount Prospect. And congratulations to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Our next award is the Unsung Hero Award. This award recognizes an essential worker in our community whose dedication may go unrecognized. This person goes beyond the job they are expected to perform, and they outperform that expectation.
John Kozel knew what he wanted to be from a very young age. It was decided when his father, a police officer, walked through the door of their home.
It's funny when you're young. You see your dad in a uniform. There's a lot of pride there, and when you're real young, there's a safety factor that I'm not sure everybody has with their parents, but I did with my father.
Raised in the northwest suburbs and eventually settling in Palatine, John went to school to become a law enforcement officer, and during this time had his first Mount Prospect job just down the road from the new police headquarters.
I worked my way through college as a bouncer. In fact, I work here in Mount Prospect at a bar called Stagger Lee's. It's now called the Red Barn. But I tested many places. At the time, I was living in Palatine. I was fortunate enough to get hired there as a police officer in 1985.
John had a long career with the Palatine Police Department. As a young detective in the 1990s, there was one case that stood out for him.
It was the Brown's Chicken homicides. It took 9 years to solve it, but I was a detective sergeant at the time it happened, and fortunately I was chief when we did get the break we needed. It was horrible. These were innocent people that went to work and never came home, and 7 families. But it was a long part of my career, probably the toughest. It makes other things in your career a lot easier. All you do have to think back to that and say, well, this isn't as bad as that.
John retired from Palatine in 2014, and 4 years later became chief of police for the village of Mount Prospect. He found the officers he led to be nothing but supportive of their new chief.
It's really been nice that the officers have stepped up and they've accepted me, and the administration has accepted me. Mike Eterno, here he was deputy chief, and he took me in, never second-guessed me on anything, and it's just been a very welcoming environment at that police department, and I'm very grateful to them for that.
With Chief Kozel's departure at the end of last year, he reflects on what he's most proud of.
It was all the new hires I was involved in. I think we've hired like 22 new officers since I've been here, and they're great to be around. Hiring new cops is the best part of a chief's job. When I started in police work, there weren't any women in my department, and we were a large department, and this department's got a lot of them, and I've been fortunate enough to hire many of them out of that this last 4 years. New hires come in with all this initiative and dreams, and you get to make that phone call and tell them they got a job. So that was definitely the highlight of my career here.
While he could always go back to being a bouncer, As for the Chief's future, at the moment, John has only one priority.
You know, I don't know. We'll see what the future holds, but my wife Kathy and I, it's time we spent more time together. She's been such a supportive spouse through 37 years in law enforcement, and I'm looking forward to maybe doing a little of nothing for a while.
The winner of the 2021 Unsung Hero Award is Police Chief John Koziel. Now, as you heard John say, he's retired, he's in Florida, and he can't be with us tonight. But he wants you to know that he is truly honored to receive this award, and I think a lot of us in the audience know John, certainly I do, and he stepped up when we needed him, and we truly did need him, and can't thank him enough. He truly earned this. Congratulations, John, wherever you are.
Next is the Living Legend Award. This award recognizes someone who has achieved near legendary status through their standing in the community. This person's accomplishments and personality make them a true legend and widely known and loved throughout of Mount Prospect.
Carol Tortorello is being given the 2021 Shining Star Award for Living Legend. Living legend? Sure. Carol's a living legend, but to label her as such is to miss the point. Carol is Mount Prospect. As someone who has shown a decades-long commitment to our village, she represents the best in us, embodying how we wish to see ourselves as a community. Raised in East Rogers Park, Carol moved to Mount Prospect with her husband Bob, purchasing a home on Pine Street to raise a family. Widowed at 39, Carol claims that she started volunteering for the village as a hobby. It turned out to be a bit more than a hobby. If you ask Carol what she is most proud of, she might say it was the monthly blood drive that she volunteered for so many years. Though not able to give blood herself, she made up for it, making sure to recruit a steady flow of donors over the years with a firm encouragement that Carol is known for when it came time to help our village. Or she may be proudest of her 20 years on the Transportation Safety Commission, instrumental in helping complete a multi-year program that standardized intersection traffic control and speed limits in all village neighborhoods. What about CERT? Carol was a founding member of the Community Emergency Response Team that started in 2004, a volunteer group that serves our community in planned and unplanned events. Carol's outreach was invaluable to the organization. Carol was a longtime member of the Mount Prospect Plan Commission and devoted countless hours to the Mount Prospect Crime Stoppers. She could be seen helping out at the 4th of July parade, the downtown block party, and any number of other village events. And on the day of rest, she could be found ushering at St. Raymond's during Sunday Mass. Carol left her mark in all corners of our community. So what is Carol most proud of? In the end, she's most proud of her sons Mike and Tom and her loving grandchildren. Carol's now 87 years old, and she sometimes wonders why she's lived such a long life. But she just stops and figures there must be more work to do.
One more time for the 2021 Living Legend Award, Carol Tortorello.
And now we've made it to 2022 awards. First up, we have the Best Neighbor Award. Again, this award recognizes a resident of Mount Prospect who exemplifies the meaning of a good neighbor. Ray and Ginny Wilkie are both Mount Prospect royalty. Married for over 70 years, they are beloved by adults and children alike on Russell Street, block where they live together. Whether sharing with neighbors the rich history of the neighborhood or helping out with landscaping tips, they hold a unique and special place in the hearts of their neighbors. Though Ray is not with us and he has passed on, but we're thankful to be able to honor in his memory this evening his wife, Ginny Wilkie, his family, and his neighbors and their neighbors. The winner of the 2022 Best Neighbor Award is Ray and Ginny Wilkie.
And we have the wonderful Ginny Wilkie, who has just won the Best Neighbor Award for 2022. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor.
Well, it is a big honor. Tell me a little bit about what a Best Neighbor means to you.
Well, I was born and raised in Mount Prospect.
Yes.
And it's always been a wonderful town.
Yes.
And I've lived on Russell Street since 1960. And many people have come and gone.
Yeah.
But our block has always been, one helps each other.
Yeah.
And then when my husband's health was failing,
Yes.
the neighbors were there to help him. And so we have many good neighbors on our block.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're one of the good neighbors.
Try.
Can you tell me something that you have done that you feel very neighborly and very giving on your Russell Street?
Well, since I've been the original one on the block, the original owner, and when they move in, you try to be good neighbors to them and tell them about the block and stuff.
Yeah.
And
which is a lost art, because sometimes neighbors these days don't even, communicate and don't even know each other, which is very sad. So you make sure.
Many of our neighbors that, for business reasons, have been transferred. Okay. When they come back in the area, they say, there's never been a block like Russell Street.
Well, we think that's because of you. So congratulations on making Russell Street so special and on being so giving of your time and yourself.
Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
Next is a 2022 There Ought to Be More People Like This award. Again, this award recognizes a person that's indispensable in the life of a group or organization. And this person takes on multiple tasks and helps wherever their hand is needed and takes charge when occasion demands it. And this village of our wonderful village of Mount Prospect is so much better because of them.
Cameron Smith grew up in Mount Prospect, having cherished memories of living on Russell Street and being a Cub Scout. His father often helping out with Pack 151.
A couple of the big reasons I got involved in Cub Scouts, just my whole adventure going through Cub Scouts and all the way through Boy Scouts, I just loved every minute of it. Getting the chance to have those experiences with my dad, it was just such an awesome bonding experience.
Who says you can't go home? Cameron returned to Mount Prospect to raise a family, living blocks away from where he grew up and building new memories with his sons, Charlie and Frankie, as the committee chair of Cub Scout Pack 151. Cameron is passionate about the Scouts, stressing that while they have plenty of adventures in the outdoors, it's more than just learning to start a campfire. It's preparation for life.
We do a lot of fun activities with the Scout. One time we went to a place called Eagle Cave, and you actually get to sleep in the cave, and the kids get to crawl around all day long. It's a mess, but it's an absolute blast. The kids have so much fun. And then, the other things like volunteering we've done, Feed My Starving Children, all sorts of things with pads and different groups like that. And just giving the kids opportunities to give back. And even when they're younger, getting the kids to, for example, like they have to go out and sell popcorn and wreaths, and getting them to learn how to go up to a door and introduce themselves to either an adult that they don't know very well or even possibly an adult they don't know at all. And, just learning those skills that are just so important in life.
As a teacher of special education by day, Cameron's is a life dedicated to the care and education of our children. When asked why he does it, it's for that moment, that magical moment.
I chose to work with kids and also working with Cub Scouts. It's those kind of aha moments where the kids get it, or where they just have that big smile on their face and you see them succeed, and they go from just being super frustrated about something to be like, I can do this, and it's just awesome.
Cameron has too many people to thank for the success he's had with Cub Scouts, acknowledging that he couldn't have done it without love and support.
My wife Nadia really helped out every step along the way, and there's no way I would have gotten half of it done without her.
Cameron is moving on from PAC 151, but don't worry, you'll see him around. You'll see him continuing to help our community. That's because Cameron is home.
I think Mount Prospect is a fantastic community to raise a family. Just the giving and the community feeling here, I think, is wonderful. And there's a lot of opportunities for kids to learn and kids to grow. It just very much has always had that home feeling to me, and that's why both my wife and I decided to move back here, and that's why we wanted to raise our kids here.
Winner of the 2022 There Ought to Be More People Like This Award, Cameron Smith.
We have Cameron Smith, who just won There Ought to Be More Like This Award for 2022. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell me about your Cub Scout PAC 151 and what that is for you and your world.
It was a great chance to really just watch the kids grow and set up opportunities, where they could try different things and succeed and learn. So it was awesome.
Well, I know you're a really big part of that and some other organizations that make you above and beyond. So tell me something you do that is above and beyond.
Well, I'm a special education teacher, and I've been doing that for 20 years now. Yeah. And just same thing, just watching the youth grow has just been fantastic part of my life. So
it's such a rewarding experience. I mean, you give so much of yourself and then you're able to get so much in return.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm sure that the kids appreciate you, and we certainly wish you congratulations and more fun and volunteerism in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Next is the Star Spangled Banner Award. Again, this award recognizes a resident who demonstrates pride in America through service, attitude, and commitment. This individual has assigned his country or a veteran in some meaningful way.
Ron Willer spent his youth in a peaceful rural setting.
I was born in Chicago, and we moved to Niles back in 1948. And we watched the town change from a small rural suburb to quite a big city. My grandpa had a chicken farm, about 400 head of chicken, and I grew up with fresh eggs. It was wonderful.
Ron was figuring out what he was going to do with the life ahead of him when the Daily Mail decided for him.
I got a letter from the government saying, "Greetings, citizen. Report to your nearest draft station for your induction into the United States Army." And immediately my parents freaked out because it was a bad time.
Following basic training, he spent 5 months studying electronics before being shipped off to Ben Hoa, outside of Saigon. There he began his duties as a night vision specialist. In the early months of 1968, enemy forces launched a series of surprise attacks throughout South Vietnam. Ron Willer was in the middle of this sustained campaign that became known as the Tet Offensive.
I remember that night specifically at 3 o'clock in the morning, the ammo dump started exploding. And when that occurred, there was such an explosion that every light bulb in our compound burst. Everybody grabbed their weapons, we went into our bunkers, and we awaited orders.
For the next 4 months, Ron and his fellow soldiers endured constant enemy shelling, sleeping when they could, often in their uniforms, waiting for the next attack.
It's a different form of military. You don't salute officers when you're in combat. You don't polish belt buckles. You don't spit shine your shoes. You just survive.
Ron returned stateside, starting a new life using the electronic skills he learned in the military, working for Schur Brothers. He also got to know some of the people in his neighborhood, specifically a woman named Sal.
I married the girl across the street. We started dating, and we got married just 43 years ago, and we've enjoyed a wonderful relationship.
Raising one son, Michael, Ron joined Mount Prospect's Post 1337. He found his calling when he volunteered to be chaplain of the VFW post, providing spiritual comfort for VFW members and their families during times of need.
One of the sidebars of being happily married is you have to be a good listener. And I feel I'm a pretty good listener. And listening to people's stories helps me empathize and sympathize and help them. I'm proud to be the chaplain.
The sound and fury of war that he endured now long receded. Ron has returned to the quiet of nature, trading in the chicken farm of his youth for backyard beekeeping in retirement. And the chaplain finds true solitude in the quiet power of prayer.
Prayer is so important, both for the person who receives a prayer and the person who prays with you. And St. Teresa, she said that the world with prayer is a world with peace.
The winner of the Star Spangled Banner Award is Ron Willer.
Congratulations to Ron Willer, who just won the Star Spangled Banner Award.
Thank you very much.
And you are looking mighty fine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So you had a big standing ovation in there. Tell me a little bit about why you are so loved here in Mount Prospect.
Well, I'm the post chaplain, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. And so I've prayed for a lot of people.
Yes.
And they've been praying for me too.
Sure. It goes both ways. And,
Yes, it
and the
does.
more you give, the more you get in return. Can you
Exactly.
tell me a little bit about what you've done in terms of your commitment to your country, and both here and in Mount Prospect and in the whole country?
Well, I served in Vietnam and in Germany. Germany was a lot more fun. Nobody was shooting at you there.
Yeah.
But when I got out of the service, then I just started working, and then I joined the VFW, the Mount Prospect VFW, and I've just stayed with them ever since. It's a wonderful group of people, because
Well-
we do so much for anybody who needs help.
Right.
We're there for them. We have their backs, even if they're not military.
Right. And everybody needs that, like you said, whether it's military or not. And we appreciate here in Mount Prospect, and we thank you for your service, of course. Can you tell me about your medals, because they are
Oh,
beautiful?
Sure. Well, there's a good conduct, national defense, Vietnam expedition, Vietnam service, combat, and a special award from the South Vietnamese, a gallantry award, so for serving. So.
Well, thank you. I know you are clearly very well appreciated here in Mount Prospect, and we appreciate your dedication.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And thank you for your service.
You're very welcome. Good to be home.
Next is the Living Legend Award for 2022. Again, this award recognizes someone who has achieved near legendary status. Their standing in the community, this person's accomplishments and personality make them a true legend, known and loved throughout Mount Prospect.
Being the spouse of a public figure has the potential to make you seem like an extension of your partner. Linda Hofert has never been one to stand in the shadow of anyone else. Instead, shining in her own light, she's forged her own path in service to our community, separate and distinct from that of her husband, Mayor Paul Hofert. Don't get me wrong, they're inseparable in marriage, in life, and in love of Mount Prospect. They went on their first date together, teenagers in high school. 6 weeks later, they committed to each other. 5 years later, they married. 49 years later, they sit side by side this evening. But they are in fact quite separate, Linda choosing her own journey to make our community a better place to live and raise a family. And it is for these contributions that we recognize her as a living legend. Raised in suburban Cary, Linda graduated with a degree in accounting from Miami of Ohio, making her the first in her family to graduate college. In 1983, the Hoferts traveled the 20 miles south on Northwest Highway, purchasing a fixer-upper on Evergreen, settling in Mount Prospect. After sons Alex and Andrew were born, Linda stopped working, prioritizing caring for her family and helping her community. She was a charter member of the newly formed Special Events Commission, serving for more than 25 years. She helped plan and often co-hosted this very awards ceremony. She worked on the committee alongside District 57 parents, going door to door to get a referendum passed for the construction of the new Fairview and Lyons schools. She helped garner support for the Village Commons townhomes within the first downtown increment financing target area under the water tower. A board member of the Mount Prospect Historical Society for the past 35 years, Linda worked on the Mount Prospect Anniversary Celebration Committees for our village's 75th and 100th anniversaries. She is a member of the Mount Prospect chapter of the Infant Welfare Society, which provides preventative health care services for children and their families, and a member of the local chapter of the Philanthropic Educational Organization, a group whose mission is to help women achieve their highest aspirations. She also served the local scouting program, from Cub Scout den leader to committee chair of her son's scout troop. And she's been on the staff parish committee and church trustee of Trinity United Methodist Church. Now, with 2 granddaughters to dote over, it's the cherished friendships made and the caring people who live in our community that Linda's most grateful for, having made Mount Prospect her adopted hometown so many years ago. Standing in a shadow? No, Linda casts her own shadow. So tonight, it's fitting to clearly recognize that Linda Hofert is not Mayor Paul Hofert's wife. Paul Hofert is living legend Linda Hofert's husband.
And the winner of the 2022 Living Legend Award is Linda Hofert. This concludes the award ceremony for our 2021 and 2022 Shining Stars. I would like to thank the village and my fellow volunteers of the Special Events Commission for all their hard work. Thank you. We're also thankful for all our sponsors, especially our gold sponsors. Friedrichs Funeral Home, Mount Prospects Lions Club, Nicholas and Associates, Peterson Roofing, and Prospect Place. Also, thank you to all our silver and bronze sponsors. You'll see their images throughout too as well.